we know we would be out of it.
As long as you couch it as. Now we'll have a different discussion.
Okay, welcome to the, what is it, March 2nd, regular meeting of the Planning Commission. Could we have the roll call, please?
Member Peterson?
Here.
Member Sparks Gillis?
Here.
Member Ziegler?
Here.
Vice Chair Adler?
Here.
Chair Williams?
Here.
Thank you.
Bill, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Ready? Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, can we approve the order of the agenda, or does anybody want to make a change?
Let's approve it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Passes 5-0. Public comment for items not on the agenda or on the consent items. Does anybody wish to speak? Anybody online? Nobody wishes to speak into public comment, so we'll move on to consent items. Anybody have concerns, questions about the consent items?
I move approval of the minutes, but under 3B, current projects, I'd like to pull three items if I could. But can we split that, approval of minutes from February 2nd, move approval?
Yeah, I'll second that.
I think the answer is yes, we can approve the minutes and then
Okay.
discuss the consent items and approve them secondly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0.
And under 3B, I just had a question on really two items, I guess, that if this is the appropriate time. If we look at the community development current project list, so it's going to be page 3, the second item down, the 423 Second Street. I think when I drove by it, that it's the old newspaper office right across from the Theater Fest. And I see that we're allowing them to convert commercial space to 2 new residential units, which is fine with me because we allow mixed use. But is it ground floor residential units? And if that's, I'm okay with that too, but I don't want to set a precedent, because if somebody had commercial space on Copenhagen Street and they want to make it ground floor, then what's the exception? Explain that to me.
Yeah, excellent question.
Thank you.
So, as you note, it does say adaptive reuse, conversion of commercial space to 2 new residential units and 500 square feet of remodel commercial. So the remodel commercial is actually in the front facing Second, and the residential units are accessed through the
Off the
alleyway,
alley.
so in the back. So what you see in the front will be the commercial space. What you see in the back is the residential.
Thank you.
So-
I figured as much. That was a big deal when we went through a general plan to make sure that that happened.
Very much so. We had initial discussions with the developer how to achieve that, because in the initial design, they had the residential in the front.
Okay.
And so we said, no, got to move that to the rear. So they designed it appropriately.
Thank you. On page 4, the second one down, the LSL Cellars is back again. Again, I don't have an issue with it. Conditional use permit for proposed nightclub with indoor amplified music, no new construction. I know we don't really look at the conditional use permit, staff kind of does it, but I'm assuming it does hours of operation or amplified music or things of that nature, and there's no ADA, or there is an elevator, or, again, curiosity.
Yeah, so there is an elevator in the building.
Oh, there is?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
We went down there. So I don't want to get into too many details because this is actually back in application review. And because it's a conditional use permit, because it is an actual nightclub, and so a nightclub requires a conditional use permit, it'll come actually before you for approval.
So it's only allowed in our commercial zone with a CUP?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So amplified music, that charges a fee. That's what a nightclub is essentially.
Interesting.
So you actually have two existing uses. Lost Chords is one.
Yes.
Lost Chords has had a CUP for quite some time, and the other one is Theater Fest. So again, those are just good comparisons to have. I know live music is, the council has asked us to bring live music back to the council for some direction, and we'll take that during the council meeting.
Okay, those are my only two questions, and with that, I would approve.
I have one question
But I have nothing
as
else.
well.
Yep.
On page 2, just a clarification for me. On 1693 Mission Drive, the parking lot reconfiguration, I see that expired on the 28th of February. Isn't that already complete?
Yes, it is completed, and the applicant has called in for inspection. So we're going to extend it out. He's requested to extend it out for a month to get the inspection final, and it gets finalized.
Okay.
Yeah, we've this is another good question. We've actually been working in our building end. We actually send out letters to property owners who have expiring permits every month. So we have no letters going out this month, but we had a handful go out last month. And again, this is us just trying to follow up to make sure that residents and property owners who actually pull their permits actually finish them off and get the value that they're supposed to get out of the permit fee.
Okay, great, thank you. So can I get a motion to approve the current projects list for 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 5-0. Any ex parte communications to report? No? Public hearing, item 5A, could we have
If
a?
I could interrupt, I'm going to leave the room as a conflict. I live too close to the project. That's my understanding. Thank you.
Okay, so would you have staff presentation, please?
All right, thank you, Chair. So this evening is a time extension for the Sansom Clinic. So the Planning Commission in February of 2023 approved a development plan for a new medical office located at 1925 and 1927 Windmill Lane. That development plan included approval of a two-story, 333 plus square foot building with a basement, 133 parking spaces over 2 legal lots, and on and off-site improvements. So the on-site improvements include the parking lot and buildings, and the off-site included sidewalks and other improvements along the frontage of the streets. So here's just 2 images of both the site plan on the right-hand side and on the left-hand side. The proposed architecture is a mission-style architecture that was proposed for the building. So just a sort of a way back time machine, the entitlement was set to expire on February 3rd, 2023, or development plan was approved on February 3rd, 2023, and set to expire 3 years after approval. The applicant did submit an application and fee prior to the expiration date. However, the applicant has yet to formally submit for building permits. So the applicant is requesting a 1-year time extension this evening. As a part of that, the municipal code requests a reason and rationale of why the Planning Commission should grant a time extension. So the applicant has requested this extension due to deferment of capital improvement projects due to change of ownership. So for those that don't know, the Sansom Clinic was acquired by Sutter Health. They are a healthcare provider. I know them from primarily in Northern California. And so city staff actually does support the approval of this time request to allow the applicant to review, allow the applicant time to submit for a building permit. And our code actually now does cap the amount of time extensions granted. So this is the one of 3 that can be granted. And then as a part of this action, a previously adopted mitigated negative declaration. So what that is our California Environmental Quality Act review that disclosed potential environmental effects would remain valid. So with that said, city staff is recommending the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2604, approving a 1-year time extension for development plan for the Sansom Clinic, located at 1925 and 1927 Windmill Lane. And the applicant is online, the applicant's representative is online to answer any commissioners' questions. With that, I'll conclude my presentation.
Does anyone have questions of the staff report before we go to public comment? No? Okay, in that case, we'll go to public comment. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on this item? No? Anybody online that would like to speak? No? Nobody online either, so we'll bring it back for discussion by the commission. Are there any questions, concerns, issues?
I'd say it was a good project and we approved it, and I see no reason to not grant them the extension.
And apparently there are no changes at all being proposed either by the city or by the applicant.
That is correct. So if there are any deviations from the development plan, the item would return to the DRC and Planning Commission for an amendment to the development plan that was approved.
Okay, no, Bill?
I would just make a move to approve.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded twice. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4 with 1 absent. That was easy. So, welcome back.
Thanks.
No discussion items. Planning Commissioner's comments.
I have none.
I got nothing.
Nothing?
None here.
None as well.
Okay, moving on. Community Development Director report.
Thank you, Chair. So again, another brief meeting. However, we will give you a very long meeting next month. We do have already 3 items lined up for the agenda. We do have the conditional use permit amendment for the hospital. So they're adding an MRI addition. Ms. Sherman has been working on that diligently with the applicant, so that has been deemed complete. That will be before you in the April meeting. And we do have another conditional use permit for a parking waiver for the Rasmussen's building. So we have the applicant requesting a parking waiver to convert the unused upstairs offices into residential units and a short-term and a hotel lodging unit. So it'd be 2 residential units and 2 hotel lodging units, and they're requesting a waiver for the parking for the lodging units. So that'll be a decision to come before you for the Planning Commission. And then we have our annual general plan and housing element report to you. And if we can get there, we will have hopefully the recommendation for our sign ordinance amendments. And I know Taylor and her staff have been working diligently to get me a copy, and that's now in my hands, so it's up to me to get it to you in a much more finalized form. With that being said, we discussed a couple of the projects that are ongoing in the city. The senior center is actually going through a 4th revision that's in our hands. They actually had additional funding, which is fantastic. So they're actually putting back in a meeting room and some pavers and additional outdoor activities back in their plans, which is fantastic. So there's a couple little hang-ups with Public Works, but the rest of the city departments have all approved that. And so hopefully that'll be approved on the next round, and they're continuing construction as we speak. However, that will hopefully wrap up most of the revisions, and it'll be a project that was actually presented the first time around versus being cut back. And then we have another program that the state of California is requiring us to do. It's an ADU amnesty program. So for units that were constructed prior to 2020, as long as you ensure that it meets all the life safety minimum substandard housing issues, there's a much more easier path for permitting. So we actually have 2 units that are going to take advantage of that immediately, and I'm going to contact another property owner who's actually in our permitting process to kind of freeze them where they're at, and then make them go through that program, which again, much easier for the property owner to utilize these state laws. So these are always tricky times with ADUs, as the state likes to change our rules on us every year. But again, we'll try to implement those as much as we can to help our residents and help get our ADUs here in town. So that will end my update.
Okay, thank you very much. Any?
Raphael, I do have a question. In a situation where you have someone requesting a parking waiver, do we charge in lieu fees? How do we do that?
Yes, that we will be recommending the charging of in lieu fees. So again, don't want to get too much into nuances there, but yes, we typically will require the in lieu fee. I know in the past, there have been other applicants, and by past meaning in the last, 10 years, 15 years, that they would request waiver of the in lieu fee, and can only be done by the council. But in this instance, the applicant's not requesting a waiver of the fees and would be happy to pay the fees.
Okay. If that's it, we're adjourned at 6:15.
Squeaker.
Did we
Yeah.
break our record?
No, it was 6:14.
Thought we could break it.
So, sounds like before you guys